Okay, here we're going to be looking at matrices, just a real quick little video about matrices. So, to get our matrices of different dimensions, we use these three tabs right here. If we're looking for just a 2x2 matrix, you can do that. And if you want to add a row, then you can add them using this one. Right? That just expands it upwards. And if you want to add columns, this one expands it sideways. The other thing you can do is you can just expand it. So that's 2x2, 3x3, 4x4, 5x5, 6x6. You can get as large as you want. Defining matrices, you can just insert all the numbers of your matrix and use this little button just here. This here will put anything into your variable. So you could put this into capital A, for instance, and then you can use this to find things like what is the inverse of A, right? Looks a bit weird, but oh. So you can use that to find the inverse of A. You can also use this if you make two matrices and you want to multiply them together. Instead of typing them all out again and again and again, you can just use this. What am I doing? There we are. Right. And now we can just find out what A times B is. One thing I found is it doesn't really like you doing just AB, so you have to actually put the operator in there. Just something to keep in mind. And I haven't actually tried this out, but yeah, I don't think you can do a divisor. You have to actually A times B inverse. Right? And then there's also the Gauss-Jordan reduction. So what we can do with that is if you want to actually check your workings out while you're going, and say you put your numbers in here. Right. What you want to do is execute, and that puts this into the answer box. So if we go and do answer, which you can do by shift execute, so shift execute. Right. That gives you your answer. And you go into interactive, matrix, row and column, and this is where you can do all of your calculations for it. So if you want to, like, we can already see that we've got a 1 in our pivot point, and we need to take off 3 lots of the first row from the second row, so that this is equal to 0. So we can go matrix, row and column, m row add, so that is some multiple of your row, and you're adding it. So our multiple is -3 because we want to subtract 3 lots of row 1 off row 2. And with our matrix, we just put down our answer because that's in our answer box. So using shift execute, row number, well, this is the one that we're actually starting with, so 1, and we want to add it to number 2. What has happened there? Wrong place. There we are. We can do this again using -4. Actually, I'll just teach you about some of the other things you can do with this. You can actually swap these around. So for instance, if I wanted to swap around row 2 and row 3, I can just go row and column, swap, and I go answer, again, row 2 and row 3. And that's just going to swap them around. Other things we can do in this little thing is we can actually multiply a row. So for instance, if we wanted to find out if we wanted to divide row 2, for instance, by 4, we'd go 1/4 because we can only multiply each row. And our answer, row number 2. So now this row here has been divided by 4 in every single term. Is there anything else we can do that is worth mentioning? You can just go row add, and that's going to add 2 rows together. One thing that is also good is if you want to check you're working out with this, you can just go matrix and actually go calculation and go RREF. This stands for row reduced echelon form. Echelon, not sure. And you just go answer. And that will do all the calculations for you. The reason why you do this is to check you're working out and see if you've done that correctly. So I'd recommend doing this to start with, so you know what the answer is going to be, and then going through and doing it by hand with the assistance of this. Okay, and that's it.